Morning crafters, welcome back to another segment of KISS, Keep It Simple Sylvia. This is the last week in the month of August. I can't believe that August is already over with, and so we will be winding up our Working with Wire segment. Today's segment's going to deal with just whimsical wire, just doing whimsical things with wire. I'm going to start out with a 20 gauge. This is a real easy wire to work with. Like we've seen in the past, you can manipulate it pretty easy. And what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to make a bug, a whimsical bug. So I'm just going to cut some lengths of wire, just random lengths. I'm not measuring anything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some lengths for some legs that we can put on this little bug. And I just shot that one across the room. And so it's going to have 6 legs. And I'm going to use a button for the body. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pipe cleaners out, and I'm just going to put a little something in the center there. And because that's orange, I think I'm going to use the gold, just to add a little pizzazz to the top of the button there. So I'm just going to thread it through and just make a little X on the top there. Just to give a cute little sparkle to the top. And just pull it through the back. Going to kind of just tie the loose ends together. Well, twist them together, not tie. I don't know why I keep saying tie. I guess it's because you can use wire just like you would twine or string, and you tie that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this off. Okay, so now we got this cute little sparkle now, and that's going to be the body. And then I'm going to take some of the wire that I just cut. I'm just going to bend it. I'm going to use my bamboo skewer and just bend. Now the front leg's kind of going upward a tad bit. And then the middle legs are just going to be kind of crooked. So I'm just going to just bend them. Up and then kind of put like a little foot on the end. And with that, I'm going to use my pliers for that. These are wire working pliers, but you can use any needle nose plier that you want. So then I'll put that in the center, like that. And then the back ones are going to be facing towards the back. I'll just bend it kind of down. And then I'll put, again, little feet coming out on it. Okay, so you can see how this is starting to take shape here. And then for the top, for the little head, I'm going to use another button, and I'm going to do some coiling. And for that, I'm going to use the 24 gauge that we've used in the past to make those coils. And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put some googly eyes on the top. So I'm just going to start coiling. I'm going to use my bamboo skewer. And like always, I just fold that around and then just start coiling. And then push it together because you know, with all of these little springy kind of coils, we want it kind of tight. And just keep coiling. And then at some point I'm going to stop because I want to feed this through the buttonholes. And once I get it fed through the buttonholes, I'll pick it up again. And I could have fed it through the buttonholes to begin with and then coiled it. So let me just measure off some. Cut it. I'll put the uncoiled end through the buttonhole. And this is a 4-hole button, so I have to decide how do I want the eyes to be. Do I want them to be on the diagonal? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put it on the diagonal. And then just feed it through. I'm getting a kink in here. That's okay. And just slide it down till I get it to where I think it's the middle. Okay, now I'm just going to keep coiling. And coil all the way down to the button. And as you get close to the button, sometimes it just helps if you just turn the skewer. Okay, and then I'll slide that off. And then I'll start on this end. And I'll just wrap it around. Keep wrapping. Push it together. It's important when you make these kind of like little springy things that you do keep it together, because that helps make it springy. You can always pull it apart and put it into any kind of whimsical shape that you want, but when you're initially coiling it up, if you just push them together, it makes it a lot easier, and it does keep it nice and springy. Push it together. Okay, so now I'm getting close to the button. So what I'm going to do is I'll push that together, and I'm just going to twist the bamboo skewer. And then I'll pull it out. Okay, so we got antennae, or we can put googly eyes on this. I'm going to put googly eyes on it. And what I have to do is I need to cut this where it's flush, so I don't have any sharp edges out. Okay, and so now we've got our little bug here starting to take shape. And I'm going to glue all this stuff together with hot glue. And then we'll have put some googly eyes on the top. So I'm going to pause while I glue this together, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got everything all glued together now. I just used hot glue to glue this down, and same with that. And I didn't have any little whimsical eyes, you know, the googly eye kind of things. So what I did was I used my crocodile hair, and I used the bigger punch that punches the bigger hole, not the smaller one, but the bigger one. And I just punched it on some white paper, put a black dot on each one, and then I got me some eyes. But I think it would look cuter with some googly eyes. And we got a cute little bug. Isn't that adorable? And then I'll do something with the background here. I just think that's so whimsical and cute. I love it. Okay, now we're going to do another little whimsical item that I just love doing. I'm going to show you an example. Okay, these are some little ducks. I have a little duck stamp, and I stamped it, and then I just drew a pond and some stuff behind it. And this little ducky right here, he can float. He can go wherever he wants. And I just have him on a wire. Isn't that cute? A little interactive little thing for a card. I just love that. So I'll show you how we do that. What you do is you get these sticks that you get like at your Circle K or 7-Eleven, and you use them for stirring your coffee. Don't throw them away. You can do all sorts of things with these sticks. One of them is do exactly what I just showed you, a little interactive thing, or you can make your own homemade beads with these things. These are great because they have a nice little hole in here, and you can put just about any size wire through it, or you can even feed string through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off just a little bit. And I have this fireworks stamp, and in the stamp set, this is a close to my heart stamp set, they have these rockets. So I stamped the rockets twice, and then I did some fussy cutting on them and cut them out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this little red thing to the rocket, so I have a tube that I can insert some wire through. I will try to zoom in so you can get a better idea of what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to drop some hot glue right down the center of this one, and then I'm going to take the little red tube, put it in there, push it down. You don't want to put a whole lot of glue on here because you don't want any glue coming up over the end and blocking the hole to that tube. Can you see that? I've just got that on there. Okay, now I'm going to put the other one on top, and then I will have the tube concealed. So I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to add some more hot glue. And once again, you don't want to do a whole lot because you don't want it coming up through the sides there. I'm going to line this up so it has like a three-dimensional look to it. Okay, now while that's cooling, I'm going to make my length of wire. And once again, I'm just going to use cheap old brass wire, 20 gauge, that you can get from the hardware store. And I'm just going to tear off, I don't know how long I want this because this is going to go on a card and I might want to start it off the card. So I'm just going to tear off a length that I think will work. If it doesn't work, I can always cut off more. Okay, and then I can curve it, I can make it straight. If you want it straighter, just use your fingers to pull on the wire because the warmth of your fingers will help straighten the wire. And so that's all I'm doing here. This is called working the wire. And as long as you keep it warm, it's pliable. One thing about when you start working with wire is you can also overwork it too much, and not necessarily what I'm doing here, but if you do a lot of bending or hammering with it, it's called work hardening, and you harden the wire. And that's a good thing when you want it to keep the particular shape that it's in, but it's not a good thing when you're still working with it and you want it to be malleable so you can shape it. So, okay, I've got that, and this should be dry. So now I'm just going to insert it down the center of that tube, finding it. There it is. And I just send it down the center. And then there's different ways that you can attach it. Now I could put one of the curlicues in, or if I was going to have it like end up at this blue firework, I could just poke a hole, which I think is what I will do. So it looks like it's going into that firework. So I'm just going to poke a hole and I'll run that wire through that hole. And either on the back I can secure it just the way it is, or I could put one of those little curls in the end, which is what I'm going to do. Now you can use your bamboo skewer or you can use your pliers. And I'm just going to just put a little twist in it. And all that does is just help secure it a little more so it doesn't come back through that hole. That's all I'm doing. Okay, and oops, I dropped it off there. Okay, so I've got that, and then I'm just going to use some tape and tape it down on the back here. Masking tape works good. Scotch tape works good. Any tape that you want to use. You can hot glue it down too. You can actually put a sticky dot on it too. That helps hold it real well too. And then that also could be used to adhere it to the card, to your card base too. Okay, so I've just got it down. And my little rocket came off, so I will have to put it back on. Okay, and then however else I'm going to put it on the card. So now I've got this little interactive rocket that can shoot right up and burst into that starburst. Isn't that cute? Just burst right up there into that starburst. I'll probably put it on one of my craft cards because I love working on craft cards and make a cute little 4th of July card with that. I just love doing these little interactive cards. I think they're so whimsical. Okay, so we've got that done. And then another thing that we can do is, you know, those wine glass holders that are come in different colors and they have little charms that come off of them and stuff, and you have them at parties and people pick the one that they want so they can identify their wine glass. Well, you don't have to buy them. You can make them. In fact, I'm going to make some right now because I have a bunkle party this Friday and I need to make some for the gals. So I'm going to use copper wire this time, same gauge, 20 gauge, just going to cut it off because the color theme that I'm using has got a lot of red in it. And then I just have some beads over here that have got letters on them. So I'm just going to just pick the name. I'm going to do one of the gals that's going to be there. If I can find all the letters. And you can do this with any beads. And then you just make your own. You can add stones at the end. You just all sorts of things that you can do. You don't have to spell a name. You could just like beads. Like I've got beads right here. I could thread these beads onto the wire and accomplish the same thing. Okay, I'm just looking for here's another letter. Okay. So, okay, I've got my letters now. And I need to secure it at the end so they don't fall off again. So I'm just going to do one of those little curls again. Just to secure the end down here so nothing falls off. I'll just do it around on itself again. Okay, just one of those little curls that we've been working with before. Okay, and just to kind of dress it up a little bit, I think I will add some beads if they will go through. Now, sometimes you have to be careful. You have to know what size the hole is in the bead, in the seed bead that you'd be using. Okay, so I've just put a little bead on there. So it looks like some of them will work. I like to think that these red ones would go on there, but they might be too. Oh, no, I do. I have a red one. But you can't hardly see it because it's a copper wire. But you see the red one going on there? Okay, and I'll just put another bead on here. Real easy way to bead if you've got a steady hand. Okay, so now I've got the bead, the little red thing, and now I'm going to start spelling the name. And I'm going to spell the name backwards because, well, I suppose I could spell it this way too. It really doesn't make any difference. Okay, so I'm just going to put the letters on. And if you have letters that face a certain way, make sure that you get them on. Like, see that R? I wouldn't want to put the R on this way if I was going to be reading it that way. So I have to make sure that the letters that are directional are facing in the right direction. And like this M could probably also be a W. Okay, so now I got my friend's name spelled. I'm going to put a couple more beads on. Okay, so now I've got that. And I'm going to put another coil in it. Give myself some playroom. And I'll cut that off. And once again, whenever you cut and you're going to have somebody using it, you always want to make sure that the flat edge is the edge on the that's going to be cutting on the piece that you're keeping, not the piece that you're cutting off. Okay, so now I've got this, and all you have to do is just bend it. And then they can bend it in any shape that they want to around their wine glass, and it's got their name on it. And you can do this for any occasion, any holiday, dress it up however you want to dress it up. Isn't that clever? And what did that cost me? Nothing. Well, I mean, initially I had to buy all this and I had to buy all the other stuff, but what it costs to get like four of those in a package, I could make 400. So it's so economical, and then I could put anything on that I want to put on by doing it this way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make up this for everybody that's going to be at the bunco. Okay, crafters, one last little bit of whimsy. I put some butterflies on this paper that I had done. It's with watercolors, and then I had done some paste over it and just colored it up with some watercolors. I'm going to use that for a card. And what I'm going to do is I just cut off some length of our 20 gauge brass wire, and I'm just going to fold it over on top of itself, and I'm going to pinch it tight. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to have a bigger base on the back, so I can adhere this to a butterfly. And I didn't want it to be the little circular thing that we have been using. I wanted it to be an elongated so that the glue could get around it and in it and everything and hold on better. You see how I did that? And so now that the glue, it's a little more elongated, and it'll go on the back of this little butterfly that I have here. And it'll go on the back here, and it'll be a little more substantial. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on there. Oops. And then I'm going to hold this in place till it sets up. And I need to heat the glue up a little bit more. And in order to do that, all you have to do is just touch the tip of your glue gun around the glue, and it'll heat it up enough for you to work with it some more. So that's what I did. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this butterfly is I'm going to attach it to the card, but I'm going to bend up the wire in a erratic mess. Just to add some whimsy to the card and make it look like an actual flight that a butterfly might do. Remember how we did that when we were working with the frames. So I'm just going to, and I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use my bamboo skewer and just do some curling on it now, just to add some more whimsy to it. And then I'm going to make sure that this kind of stands up a little bit on the surface of the card. And I'm just going to just glue that on or attach it however I want to attach it. And so I've got some dimension here with the wire. Just see how that makes it stand up like that. I've got the other butterflies mounted on foam tape. I've got this one standing up above it. And then I'll probably just poke a hole in here and secure it on the back. And then attach this to a card. So you can make it look like in the butterflies flying. You could do this with bees. You could do it with any cute little thing. I could have put it on the tube and had interactive little butterfly sliding up and down. Just all sorts of different things that you can do with wire. Gosh, I love working with it. Okay, well, that's it for now, the crafters, and we'll be right back with the recap. Bye. Okay, crafters, we're going to do a recap of everything that we've done for the month. For the first week, we worked basically with wiring flowers, all sorts of different ways to create little flowers. And how we did it is we basically made a coil and we used a pencil, coiled it around, and then spread them apart, and we made all these cute little flowers. Attached some twine so it looked like the leaves on the flower. There's all sorts of cute little different flowers here. And then we coiled, made a little coil in the center, and then just glue them down with hot glue. And you got a cute little center for one of these silk flowers. And then also I showed you how to dress up a little button, put some coils on a button, make the button look like it's been tied with wire. Another thing that you can do with coils is do an embelly like that. Then on week 2 we did some simple wire embellies, and we took the flowers that we did the first week, and rather than make a stem with the end of the wire, we just coiled it up on top of itself and just pushed it down and made a cute little flower that way. We also talked about doing jump rings. You can make some tiny jump rings or you can make big jump rings. If you make them big and you use a thin wire, then they can easily pull apart. But if you're just going to use them as an embelly on a card, then thin wire works real good, which is about 24 gauge or even the 20 gauge that we're working here, which is what these were made out of. If you want to make sure that you're going to use them for actually adhering a charm or something, I would suggest that you make them smaller, because the smaller they are, the less likely they can be pulled apart, and you use an 18 gauge or thicker wire. So you can make your own chains, and you don't have to do it in that shape. There's all sorts of different shapes that you can make chains in. I'm just going to show you some of the other ones that I've done. This one, just by looping it around, and this one. And you can make a bunch of different ones like this and chain them together that way and just make your own chains. All sorts of different chains that you can do. We made these cute little hangers. Aren't those cute? God, I just love those. And then some real cute little hearts, wire hearts. Another flower, just bending the wire into shape. Coils are wonderful to use on any kind of project. They just add a sort of whimsy to, like if you've got a bunch of flowers and you want something to come out of like the bottom of a flower or something. A real cute little whimsical thing. And then like on a button, you could actually use this as the head of a bug or something, and these could be the little antennae, or put it as the head of a butterfly. And then for week 3, we talked about borders and frames, and I showed you some examples that I had done with my cards. This is again one of the flowers that we had made. And then also I just wrapped this with wire and did some coils on that and expanded them. Another one, just did some coils, coiled it up, and did that to accentuate it. And then here's another example of those coils. You can make them as big as you want, and going around would definitely be would stand out more. And then this is one of the frames that we did. And here's all the different frames. These are some of the frames that we made out of pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners are wonderful to work with. You can see I kind of chose holiday colors, but pipe cleaners come in all sorts of colors. And all other things that you can do with pipe cleaners, you can curl them up and make cute little embellishments like that. Here's some of the frames that we made out of wire. All sorts of different frames here. So we talked about doing a button. You can just put a center in the button, or you can actually have that be what is going to be showing on your project for a button. We did some more little curlicues where we wrapped the wire back around on itself, and we made some textured coils. And then with the pipe cleaners, we just did some more cute little embellies. We braided these together and made a flower. We made a heart, did a coil, did another heart, and another small little frame. Okay, and then in week 4, we actually started writing with wire. We wrote the word love, and then mom, and then we worked with pipe cleaners, showing how easy it is to spell words with pipe cleaners, mom and you. And then other things that we did with pipe cleaners, here's the little flower that I made, put a leaf on it. How cute is that? Oh gosh, I love the colors of these things. And then this, obviously you can make any kind of letter you want, but I just want to show you that, what could be an H could also be a field goal. If you're going to do a card for somebody with football, you could make it a field goal, the goal line that they'd kick the ball over. And then for the final week, which is the week that we just did, we did kind of the little whimsical stuff. And I showed you how you can make interactive cards just by using the tube straws that you get when you get coffee or hot chocolate or something. Don't throw them away. They're easily to be rinsed off, or you can always go to Costco and buy thousands of them really dirt cheap. And then this other cute little whimsical card. I stamped these and colored them up with Copics. I just love this one. I think he's so cute. And then also making those drink identifiers that you can put on the stemware of the wine glasses. So there you have it, crafters. We got an awful lot accomplished this month working with wires. Oh, forgot the little bug. I just love him. I just think he's adorable. And I'm definitely going to get some googly eyes for him. How sweet is this? All these cute little whimsical things that you can do with wire. Okay, and I definitely don't want to forget about the cute little whimsical butterfly card that we made, where we put the butterfly on the wire and bent the wire up in all sorts of different shapes. And what I ended up doing was just gluing it down here And then I will use this and put it on probably a craft card. Okay, that's it for now, crafters. Well, thank you, crafters, for joining me for the month of August, and we worked with wire the whole month long. I could go on and on and on, as you can probably tell, that I just do not get tired of working with wire. Wire is just amazing. I mean, I could get into jewelry making and all sorts of neat little things that you can do with jewelry. Simple little, oops a daisy, simple little ring that you can coil up. So easy, so quick, and make jewelry. You can also make toe rings, all sorts of things. So maybe that's something that address another day. But I just want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey through wire, and I hope you will join me again next month for the month of September when we take on another project. So have a good Labor Day weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you back here again the first Friday in September. Bye for now, crafters. Thank you for joining me on Kiss. Keep it simple, Sylvia.